Have you ever had the feeling that someone is watching you, but not in fear, in recognition? Not because you're a threat, but because you're part of something you didn't know you were part of. When Jesus looks at you, not as a savior, not as a symbol, but as a man, mocked and bleeding, what do? There's a painting that asks that question, a painting most people have never heard of. It hangs in silence, in the shadows of a chapel in Denmark. No crowds, no glass, just him and you. At first, it feels like a simple scene, a soldier yelling, a robe draped in mockery, a crown of thorns, all the things we've seen before. But then you notice his eyes. He's not looking at the man hurting him. He's looking past him, past the frame, straight at you. And suddenly this isn't just a painting, it's a confrontation, a moment frozen in time where you're no longer just a viewer. You're part of the story. There are paintings you've seen 100 times, even if you never stepped foot in a museum. But some works, they vanish. Not because they're weak, but because they don't belong where power decides what lasts. The Mocking of Christ by Carl Bloch isn't hanging in the Louvre. It's not taught in art history classes. It's not printed on postcards in museum gift shops. It lives in a quiet chapel inside Frederiksborg Castle in Denmark, a place most people will never visit, a place where tourists don't crowd in front of the canvas, trying to get the perfect photo. And yet, if you see it, really see it, you won't forget it, because it doesn't ask for attention, it doesn't perform, it confronts. A man humiliated, another mocking, darkness swallowing everything else, and in the middle, this impossible stillness. The painting was completed in 1880 by an artist who spent most of his life bringing the New Testament to life. But Carl Bloch wasn't just illustrating Bible stories. He was resurrecting them in oil, in shadow, in unbearable silence. He was Danish, respected in his homeland, even beloved. Many churches in Denmark still guard his works as part of their sacred space, but outside his country, silence. No praise, no scandal, no fame. Just a man painting scenes the world had grown tired of, but doing it with such precision, such restraint, such haunting emotion, that even today, over a century later, his Christ still follows you with his eyes. And not everyone is ready for that. It doesn't look like much at first. Just two figures, a man shouting, another sitting quietly. There's no crowd, no chaos, no blood or drama spilling from the edges, just darkness. The background is pure black, a void, a theater without a stage. There are no buildings, no soldiers, no cross, only this moment, suspended, carved in silence. And then you realize the shouting man isn't the center. It's the one being mocked, crowned with thorns, wrapped in a robe of ridicule, holding a reed like a king's scepter. But he's not broken, he's not crushed, he's not even flinching. He's waiting, still, seated, looking directly out of the painting, looking at you. Carl Bloch didn't just paint a scene, he directed it. He staged it like a whisper, a confrontation too intimate to ignore. It's not cinematic, it's surgical. His use of light isn't decorative, it's decisive. The glow doesn't illuminate the room, it carves the story out of shadow. The soldier is all movement, tension, spit and noise. His mouth is open mid-sentence, his hand raised in insult. But Jesus, he does nothing, says nothing, he just looks. Not at the soldier, not at the crown, at you. This is what filmmakers call breaking the fourth wall, when a character steps out of the scene and acknowledges the audience. But this isn't a gimmick. This isn't clever, this is devastating. Because once you notice that look, you can't pretend it's not there. And it changes everything. You're no longer outside the frame. You're inside the scene. Complicit, witness, maybe more. Because when someone being humiliated looks at you, not in hate, not in anger, not even in fear, but in recognition. Why isn't this painting famous? Why doesn't it live among the masterpieces we're told to remember? Why isn't Carl Bloch mentioned alongside Caravaggio, or Rubens, or even the religious painters of his time. It has nothing to do with quality and everything to do with geography. Bloch was Danish, and Denmark, for all its beauty, was never the center of the art world. He wasn't Italian. He wasn't French. He didn't belong to the salons of Paris or the academies of Rome. He belonged to something quieter. While Europe chased modernity, impressionism, abstraction, rebellion, Carl Bloch stood still. He painted with invisible brushstrokes. He sculpted light like a Baroque master. He stayed loyal to realism, even when realism had been declared dead, and that left him behind. Art history isn't neutral. It's not a meritocracy. It's a story told by cities, by markets, by critics who decide what counts. Carl Bloch wasn't in the right room, at the right time, speaking the right language. So the world moved on, but Denmark didn't. When King Christian IX saw Bloch's work, he didn't just praise it, he commissioned it. Not one painting, not two, but 23 monumental scenes from the New Testament to be housed in the chapel of Frederiksborg Castle. It was royal, it was sacred, it was official, and still, it wasn't enough. Because Bloch never had a major exhibition abroad. His work never entered the elite collections of Europe. No scandal, no sensation, just quiet excellence, tucked away in stone halls and candlelight. And maybe that's what condemned him. He didn't provoke. He didn't chase movements or manifestos. He painted pain, with reverence, with discipline, with eyes that refused to look away. And in a world obsessed with noise, his silence became invisible. But maybe the real injustice isn't just historical. Maybe it's personal. Because the question isn't only, why did the world forget this painting? It's, why do we still look away when someone like this looks at us? There are paintings you admire, paintings you study, even paintings you forget. But this one sees you, not with a judgment, not with pity, with something harder, recognition. It sees what you carry, what you avoid, what you don't want to admit you feel. When you see a man, broken and still dignified. That's what Carl Bloch left behind. Not just a painting, but a mirror. Not for your face, for your silence. Because the mocking of Christ doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It simply waits. And in that waiting, it asks the hardest question, what do you do? When Jesus looks at you and doesn't look away? Maybe that's why this painting was forgotten. Not because it wasn't beautiful, but because it was too honest, too quiet, too still, too hard to carry. But now you've seen it, and maybe it won't let you go. If this left something in you, even something small, I'd love to hear it. What did that look feel like? Did it hurt? Did it understand you? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading. And if you're ready for another painting that hides a secret just as powerful, you'll want to watch this next one. I'll see you there. If you enjoyed spending this time with me, peeling back the layers, catching secrets in the corners, I'd love to see you again. Subscribe to Vellum and come get lost in the next painting with me.